Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare Rama, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna Mahamantra
Krishna,
ki jai. So welcome all of you. In the previous session, we were discussing about the science of self. So I'll quickly browse through those slides so that we are on the same page, and then we begin with our further part of this same session. It's a little long session. I will do that. Just a minute. I think you can see now. So this is what we were doing last time. Now we have done half of this, so we will go through that pretty fast. Here you find the lamenting Arjuna, and then he used the specific words, Karpanya dosho bhata svabhava. I have been overtaken by miserly weakness, Krishna. He said that because he's a Kshatriya, he's a warrior, but a warrior weeping like this is not proper without doing his duty. So he said, like a rich man is, miserly to spend money. Similarly, I am a warrior, miserly not to fight the battle. Because of my bewilderment, dharma sammuda cheta, second line he says that. I have been bewildered about what is my dharma. And then Guruhi, you tell me, Krishna, what is my dharma? And I accept you as my guru. I become your disciple. So like that, Arjuna surrendered. So in this world, if people simply eat, sleep, mate, defend and die, they are compared to be like cats and dogs with no meaning or purpose in life. So therefore, in human body, one can ask questions. It's possible. So, see, the staircase can take us up or bring us down depending on which path we choose. So then we were discussing this important slide. Arjuna's main problem was these two things. He was thinking that I can protect and save the family members from death, and the family members can save me. This kind of two thoughts. In this world, nobody can save anybody. One by one, everybody has to die. Today or tomorrow, everybody has to leave the body one day. And therefore, one should work for the welfare of the soul, which is the undying personality. Then in this chapter, that's the main teaching. Lord Krishna will teach him. You are not the body or the soul. Work for the soul. Don't just polish the cage. Feed the parrot. Don't just wash the car. Feed the driver of the car. Like that. That's the main lesson Krishna gave Arjuna. Then we told about the dharma of the soul, loving relationship with God, isn't it? So this is very natural for the soul for living being to love God and serve Him eternally. And in the event of our not serving God, then we become forgetful like this. We forgot our love for God, and then we come to this world here. We get into many temporary relationships. I showed you spouse-centeredness and family-centeredness, money-centeredness, work-centeredness, possession-centeredness, pleasure-centeredness, pet-centeredness. So we have multiple off-centers. And these are all temporary relationships, perishable. So we keep going from one temporary relationship to second and third and fourth and so on. So, and then, okay, friend or enemy-centeredness. And then we gave examples for that. Dhritarashtra was centered around Duryodhana, attachment to his own son, making him the king. So the whole dynasty was destroyed. In this way, Arjuna is also attached to his relatives and, attached to the temporary bodies of the relatives. And Krishna chastised Arjuna. If you are wise, you neither lament for the living nor for the dead, because the soul never dies. So Krishna is like a sannyasi here in the picture you see. Somebody is dead, somebody is living. So sannyasi, he knows that the soul never dies. Yeah. So we finished all these things. Then we came to this. And this famous verse, again, chapter 12th verse, where Krishna tells the identity of Krishna, identity of Arjuna, and identity of all the warriors in the battle. They eternally exist. That was the main point. And then the 13th verse, famous verse, where Krishna tells the identity of the soul. And you are not the body, you are the soul. The body undergoes changes like what you see in the picture. Small baby to boy, boy to youth, and youth to man, and then man becoming older man. This way, and then one day he dies and then takes another body. The soul is moving from one body to another. So this is the verse, famous verse. Can we recite this verse again? It's a very important verse. Dehinosmin jata dehe kaumaram jauvanam jara tadha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na mukhyati. So he says that, like if you take for example, if you take a film spool, if you move a film spool with rapid speed at a rate of 16 slides in 1 second, in 1 second 16 slides, then it will appear continuous. For example, if there is a bowler bowling a ball, taking a ball in the hand, and on one slide will show one pose like this, or moving the ball, or you're throwing the ball like this. But if you move them swiftly, it will appear like a continuous movement of a person bowling the ball. Each slide of the cinema reel, if you take, they are all individual movements, like this, like this, like this, like this. Similarly, at every moment, you will see we have a different body. Our bodies are changing at every moment. Therefore, the body, like you all may have pictures of yourself when you were a small baby. Look at it now. How much different you have become. Think about it. Your baby's body, your boy's body, your youthful body, and now the current body. Your body has changed the shape. So you have become so grown up now. Your same body was such a small baby in the lap of your mother. So that's not you. The body is always changing. The real you is the consciousness. You were present in the baby's body, you are remembering it now. And that you is the real you. You are aware of the baby's body, you are aware of the boy's body, youth's body, and the current body. And then when you will become old, you will know that this is the old body I am in. And then when the body dies, you know that, oh, the bodily instrument I had is finished. Now I leave that body and I have to take one more body. Just like you all are changing your dress every day. Today you are wearing one dress. Tomorrow you will wear another dress. Like that, we all are changing the body. And that's what Lord Krishna explains. Like we have material energy and spiritual energy. Material energy, we say energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy disappearing in one form reappears in another form without any loss or gain. That's conservation of material energy. In the same manner, the spiritual energy is the soul, and is the smallest unit of matter we call as atom, isn't it? Similarly, the smallest unit of spirit is soul, which is occupying everybody, which is powering everybody. Just as the matter, is not destroyed, only the manifestation of matter is destroyed. For example, say you have a tree. You can cut the tree and make it into a book table, correct now? And tomorrow, in case you have nothing else available for burning in the furnace, or the table has become very old, you will cut the table into firewood and then use it in the furnace. Earlier it was called as a tree, later on it was called as a table, now it is called as firewood. So the name of the commodity has changed, and is video paused? You are not, is it buffering, huh?
No, it's clear for us.
It's good for us.
Okay. So, in this way, I was telling you, the same wood has three names. You call it tree, you call it table, you call it firewood. Why? Because the application is different and the shapes are changing. But the substance of the wood is as it is there. Similarly, matter is eternal, but the manifestation of matter in different shapes is different. Like you will see that, like right now I have a body. That means the matter inside which I am seated now, that has taken a shape now. But when the soul, myself, when I will leave the body, this matter will no more be having this shape. It will simply become a pile of ashes, correct now? So like this, we have to understand the difference between matter and spirit very clearly. We have to understand, very important it is. So that's why this chapter, we are devoting this class also to fully properly understand it. So that there will be no confusion. So, yeah, this we discussed, who are you? And Dr. Harry Manson said that, these are the chemicals in your body. And he asked a good question. So he's a smart professor. He asked a good question in that exhibit. Are you the bunch of these chemicals? He asked. He said it is just 110 Indian INR. Nobody will agree that I am magnesium or potassium or calcium or any of this. These are all just substances in the material body, and we are consciousness, conscious awareness different from it. Then who are you? Then I told you about the material point of view. People think that we are matter and chemical bundle and everything finished at death. But the spiritual point of view, Gita, Lord Krishna explains that, we are spirit, which is powering the material body. Whether it is the body of an elephant or the body of a serpent, body of a dog or a calf, in every living body, there is a living spark. The soul, which is powering the body. And the spirit soul is engaged in the material body. This is the understanding, first understanding Krishna gives to Arjuna. This I told you. Everybody is polishing the cage and not, caring for the bird. Similarly, people are taking care of body very much, but they are not caring for the soul. You agree? Like you see how many types of shoes people have. People are shoe conscious, belt conscious, jeans conscious, shirt conscious, hairstyle conscious. They are conscious about so many things, except Krishna conscious. Except that they are conscious of everything else, of the body. It's like polishing the cage, isn't it? Like people put scent for the body, deodorant. And people put shampoo for the hair. And people put so many other cosmetics to keep the skin soft and everything. But you ask them, sir, what are you doing for the soul? They don't even know soul exists. That's the most greatest pity. So, that's the point here. And then I went on to explain this one about different proofs for the soul. That the soul has awareness, near-death experience, out-of-body experience, all that. Many books are available in the market. I told you, Dr. Ian Stevenson's research. Then I showed you the movie also of James, isn't it? The pilot. So these are all the hundreds of books now. They're like the old man is going into the door and then coming back as a child, because he has left the old body and occupied a child's body now. And then the phobias are related to the past life. Explained that also. And then the twins, although they look alike, genetically same, but they behave differently due to two souls entering in their body. It's a punching proof for the soul. Ian Stevenson says that. He says, without two souls entering, they can't have two different natures. Genetically, they're supposed to behave the same. Then I told you, the Shukla, she remembered more than 30 people's names and their positions and everything. She in fact led the people to the village. This is another story of Shukla, remembering her previous, life instances. So many scientists also, scientists and many writers like Socrates, philosophers, they have also said like this, you see. I'm confident that there truly is such a thing as living again and living springs from the dead. So, in this world, bodily consciousness divides us. Like you can see Hindu versus Muslim, white versus black, rich versus poor. These are all bodily consciousness. Whereas when you take the soul, all souls, irrespective of which country, which nationality belong to, soul in each body is same, whatever religion you may belong to. So if you can understand that consciousness of soul, then we can be united. All can be united. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada united the whole world. I told you I was in Calcutta, in Mumbai, and Calcutta in India. So 120 countries came and took part in Harinam Sankirtan, which is a walk for the global peace. So they were chanting the holy name of Lord together. So our spiritual movement is a uniting movement, not a dividing movement. You see, selfish people who are bodily conscious, they think about the body only. But selfless people, I mean, those who are spiritualists, they think of other living beings also. So, we explained the goal of life. Here, the change of the body is explained here. Your body is just like a shirt. And then I told you how, like you change the vehicle from cycle to bike to car to aeroplane. Like that, the soul is moving from one body to another. The driver is same, but the vehicles are changing. Similarly, we all are changing the gross body every time. But the Atma, the soul covered by the subtle body is the same. It goes from one vehicle. So this is like the vehicle is changed, but the person is same. Then on what basis he moves? That is explained. Krishna explains that. At the time of death, whatever you remember, accordingly you get the next body. And then, like this, I showed you how we are changing the bodies according to what you desire to do and what type of price you can pay for getting the next body. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, people not caring for the soul is the reason to end up stuck in hell and on life and death because of desire and sanskara. Correct. Jeev Joshi, you are right. You are right, yeah. So, here I want to say a few words about it. This is a very, very scientific phenomenon, what we are learning just now. That when I leave one particular body, whatever desires are stored in my mind, for giving shape to those desires, I'll be given the next body. Is that point clear to everybody? Say, for example, a boy comes from the school and he is lying down at 4 o'clock in the evening. Mom, 5 o'clock I have to go for a movie. Wake me up, he says. So 4 o'clock he goes to sleep and 5:30 he gets up and tells mom, oh, it's getting late for the movie, I have to go now. Because he slept with the desire of wanting to go to movie. As soon as he got up, he went to the movie. Similarly, we all sleep in one body and we open our eyes, we find ourselves in a new body. And in that body, we continue giving shape to the desires that we stored in the previous body. Yes, Yash, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, so what about throughout the entire life, you've done bhakti. Does that go to waste then? Let's say at the end of the day, right?
At the end of life, the desire that will arise in our mind is not in our control. Because, our body may be in the hospital sometimes, and there is one verse in the Varaha Purana which says that if my devotee has lived his life in Bhakti Yoga, all his life, at the time of death, he is lying in the bed, passing stool and urine, and he can't even speak, he is in a comatose state, then he doesn't have to remember me. I personally come to pick up my devotee and take him to my abode. Dayami paramam gatim, like that the Lord says. So the last thought is not something which we can design much. It's not possible for us to design. It's by default only. And by default, how the thought comes, depending on what things you have developed relish for or happiness for. So those are going to accrue together and give you the last thought. For example, if somebody has been, like I saw an old man, he was 78-year-old man in India, but he would be watching cricket from morning to evening. Morning 10 to evening 6 he would watch, and after 6 in the evening he goes to play cricket himself. And in the TV, whenever somebody puts a sixer, he'll be jumping with great delight. So I was thinking, this man is an old man, but he has a very strong desire to play cricket and watch cricket. When he dies, I can easily say that he will take one more body, where he can give shape to those desires. Is that clear? Yes?
Yes, that is clear.
Yeah. So, but if you are a devotee, you are chanting, naturally, God is not such a stereotyped man that he says, hey, you missed me thinking of me at the time of death, you are gone now. He won't say that. He's very intelligent. Yeah. So Jacob is saying that it is best not to generate desires or karma, but pay it back with seva and generate no karma by do things correctly. Perfect, brilliant understanding. Spiritual process never goes to waste. At the end of life, you either improve or attain moksha. Very good. Perfect. This is what precisely all of us should do, what Jacob is saying. Yeah, very good. You are right. So, in this way, okay, now I may store a desire, but I may not be able to give shape to it if I don't deserve. Like for example, I go to a cloth shop and say, I like those pants or those coats or ties and everything. They may say, no, you need to be able to pay for it. If you can't pay for it, go for a cheaper one, they will say. Anything you go to buy. Even buying an apartment is like that. If you can afford to buy an apartment in a very busy city, you can buy, or you may prefer to go to little outskirts and buy a cheaper apartment, isn't it? In the same manner, the next body is like an apartment for the soul. The soul is going to leave this body and accept the next body. So my good karma, if I have, then I may be able to purchase a better body. If I have bad karma, I get a poorer body, like that. That's the point he's explaining there. So, and then, as you sow, so shall you reap. And we get results according to karma. Some karmas come instantly, some are delayed. Like the fruit-bearing tree, if you water the tree, gradually apples will come. So, in our human life, we have two roads. You can walk the right path or the sinful path. One path is for the law abiders, one is for the law breakers. For example, we have given here those people who unnecessarily torture the innocent creatures, or those who resort to intoxicants. These are all sinful activities. Sin means disobedience to God, or gambling, or illicit connection. So these kind of activities are sinful, and then one glides down, as you see here, to repeated birth and death. And here you see, this fellow is developing the consciousness of a tiger by eating flesh and drinking blood. So similarly, here somebody is developing the consciousness of a polar bear, sleeping too much. So Srila Prabhupada says in one lecture, if you sleep 12 hours a day, that means in a year, 6 months you are sleeping. That means you are fit to be a polar bear, he says. Because polar bear sleeps half the time he sleeps. Here somebody is exposing the body, showing the body, and trying to impress the other people. Then one gets the body of a tree, where one can keep the body exposed always, like you see on the right side. The people are developing a consciousness, a certain type of consciousness. On the other hand, if you follow the laws by doing austerity and sacrifices and association of saintly people, cultivating spiritual knowledge like you all are doing now. In this way, we can, we can elevate ourselves. These are elevating. Then one does not get birth, old age, disease, death. One can go back to supreme destination. So this is called as ABCDE, we call it. association books, chanting, diet, and engagement, seva. Then you go up, 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 up. These are the steps which lead you back home, back to Godhead. So both are available for anyone. And then one returns back to Lord's abode. Lord Krishna says, Na apnimati mahatmanaha samsiddham paramamata. They come back to my abode. He says. So, after this I was showing, text 13 is coming here. That's one. So these are the series of verses given here. We don't have to see this. If you see the shlokas directly, that will be more easy. This is summary is given. See, second chapter, 17th verse, up to 25th verse. There are different themes that are covered, which is mentioned here. That the soul is eternal, it's unborn, it's indestructible, immeasurable. I'm going to show you the slides for this. And when you see that, it will become easy. Here only summary is given here. Those who are real seers of the truth, they can confidently say that the material body is non-existent, which means material body is perishable and spirit soul is imperishable. They know it very well. Nasate vidyate bhavo, nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubayorapi drishtontas tvanayos tatpadarshibhihi. The seers of the truth know that the material body which is lying on the ground, it's going to be burnt to ashes. Or it's going to be put in a coffin. That is not long enduring. It's a perishable thing. They know it clearly. And the soul which is leaving the body and coming out, that is imperishable. They know it very well, as you see in the picture. And then Krishna says that that which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. The consciousness spreads all over the body, you can experience that. Avinashi tu tadvedhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamabhyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhati. It is spreading, consciousness is spreading all over the body, he says. And then Krishna goes on to say, the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal soul, living being, is sure. The body is sure to come to an end. Therefore, you can fight. Anyway, Bhishma and others are old. They are going to leave their body. To leave the body, they'll get a replacement body. So nothing to worry, Arjun. Fight the battle, he says. Antavantaye me deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anajino prameyasya tasmat yudyasya bharata. Krishna is telling here. Antavantaye me deha. This body is temporary. It will fall apart. But Atma is nityasya. It is eternal, anashi. It will not be destroyed. The soul can neither kill nor is killed. And that's what he's saying here. Eyeva, eyanam, vettihantara, yaschanam mannitevata. So don't worry, Arjun, do your duty, he's saying. So this, what is mentioned in these 4 points is given in this sloka here. Very famous one. Na jayate, the soul is never born. Na mriyate, the soul never dies. Na ayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha. Never was a time when the soul was not there. And never will there be a time when the soul will stop existing. It will always, it's aja, unborn. Nityaha, constant principle. Shashvata means imperishable. Ayam purano, nahanyate hanyamane sharire. So when the body is finished, the soul is not finished. So this is the most important awareness, understanding. That the body, goes from childhood boy to youth to old age and it perishes. It's finished. But the soul will never die. I, the soul, awareness. I am aware that I am existing. I will come out of the body and I will be looking for another body because the soul requires a bodily facility for executing his desires. He has his desires stored in the mind. I told you last time, the soul is given 2 equipments. One is the mind, one is the gross body. In the mind, you store the desires. In the gross body, you give shape to those desires. For example, I have a desire to build a house. I have a desire. Then I will invite a civil engineer and get a blueprint made. And then the house construction will be done. I will go and supervise. Which means mind desires and the body executes. Body is the executor. Mind is a desirer. That you understood now. Yeah. Yeah, but the soul, that is simply a change of clothes. That's all. This is a very beautiful verse. We will recite this. All of you can repeat. Vasam sijirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naro parani. Yeah. Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani. Anyani samyati navani dehi. So one more time we'll recite. Vasam sijirnani yata vihaya. Navani grihnati naro parani. Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani. Anyani samyati navani dehi. Yeah. So the meaning of this verse is, Vasa means the dress, Jirna means old. When the dress becomes old, then the soul gives up that bodily dress. Navani grihnati. Nava means new. He takes a new dress of the new body. Naro aparani. So another dress he goes for. Tata sharirani vihaya jani. When that bodily dress also gets old, it leaves that and then takes another one. In this way, the soul goes on taking new bodies, he says. One example I'll tell you. You know, I used to take once in a week oil bath. So one day when I was taking oil bath, my towel became very oily. It became so oily, it was sticky in my hands. Then I told my assistant, hey, take this towel and put it for dry wash, because if I wash, my hands are all becoming very sticky, it's not good. So when my assistant asked, how much is it for dry wash? The man, he saw the cloth and said, oh, this will be, I will take 200 rupees to, clean out the oil and everything. Then I asked my assistant, what is the cost of the towel? He said, the cost is only 50 rupees, he said. But he is asking 200 rupees to remove the oil, he said. I laughed at it. It is just 50 rupees, is a new towel. Why to give 200 rupees for cleaning the oil? I told him, throw away the towel, get a new towel. In 50 rupees, I told him. And this is exactly what happens to soul. When the soul sees in the body there's a brain hemorrhage, or there's a kidney failure, there is a liver cirrhosis, there is lung failure, or massive heart attack, something happens, or sometimes multiple organ failure also. When everything happens, soul decides, oh, this body is too horrible. It's creating too much problem. Well, let me better quit it and go to the next body. So then he is awarded the next body. Is that clear to everybody? Navani grihnati. Yeah. So there's a very beautiful verse. Yeah. And this is what I told you, what you see in the picture here. The soul cannot be burned by fire, light by air. Lord Krishna says that in 23rd verse. Yeah. So these are the qualities of the soul given there. One of you can read that, please, all these qualities. Very important. Yeah. It's all about the soul. Regarding the soul, what all qualities Krishna said?
Unbreakable, insoluble,
Yeah.
neither burn nor dry, everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, eternally the same, unbreakable.
Yeah. So unbreakable means like a glass, if you put a glass bottle down, it breaks, but the soul cannot be broken. And insoluble means it doesn't dissolve also. Like ice, it dissolves into water, but the soul cannot be dissolved. And it cannot be burned, cannot be dried. And everlasting means it has been existing, it will exist forever. And it is present everywhere means what? The soul keeps roaming from heaven to hell, sometimes hell to heaven, sometimes in a human body, sometimes in an aquatic body, sometimes in a bird's body, sometimes in a dog's body or insect body. It keeps moving. Therefore, it's called present everywhere. And also, the soul is present everywhere also means there are millions and millions of souls all over the universe. Everywhere you find the souls. And unchangeable means the body changes, but the soul doesn't change. Here I want to tell you one very interesting phenomenon now. See, there is something called as your Swarupa. Swarupa. I'll type it in the chat. What is Swarupa? See, this is a word, Swarupa. Swarupa means what? Your eternal spiritual identity. So eternal spiritual identity is called Swarupa. And that soul, when he comes to this world, that soul shrinks itself. And then it becomes like an egg shape. With that egg shape, it enters into the body. And then sometime in a human body, sometimes dog's body, sometimes cat's body, sometimes aquatic body, sometimes bird's body. So the soul is moving like this from one place to another. So, for example, my hand is here, I can wear an electrician's gloves. Or I can wear a surgeon's gloves, or I can wear winter gloves, or I can wear boxing gloves, correct, no? The gloves is changing, but the hand is the same. Similarly, the Swarupa of the soul, correct, you are right, Satchidananda Swarupa, correct. Jacob, you are perfectly right, yeah. That is our Swarupa. So, so my hand remains the same, but the gloves are changing. So what am I comparing the gloves to? Somebody can tell me? Different gloves I told you. Electrician's gloves, surgeon's gloves, boxing gloves. What am I comparing the gloves to?
Body.
Body, yeah, different type of bodies. But the Swarupa or the Satchidananda Rupa of the Atma remains the same. That's the point. That's what it's called unchangeable. It is called. Okay. And immovable, he says. Why the word Achaloyam, Sanatana, he says immovable. Actually, you will see that the body, our body is very easily moved by many things, like the three gunas can move the body, karma can move the body. Karma is taking body from one place to another. Gunas are taking also the body. And they are driving us to run here and there. Whereas the soul is immovable in that sense. The soul is always pure. Even right now, our souls are pure. But it is covered by this impure mind or the subtle body. Therefore, the soul is called immovable. And eternally the same. All souls are looking the same, similar. So, here's a beautiful verse. Achedyoyam adakyoyam akledyo shosha evacha nitya sarvagatastanu rachaloyam sanatanaha. See, the soul is invisible. The eyes, naked eyes cannot see the soul. It's immutable, unchangeable, inconceivable, and invisible. These are qualities of the soul is explaining. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmat evam viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi. Even if you reject the soul, still there is no cause for lamentation. Now, this is the next point. Here he is saying, the soul is not easily manifest with the eyes, and it is inconceivable. In this way, these are all different qualities of the soul, he is saying. Okay, let us assume that Atachainam nityajatam nityam vamanyase mritam tatapi tvam mahabahu nainam satsumarhasi. He's telling, Krishna is telling Arjuna that, you see here, sorry, the previous one. Even if you reject the soul and you think you are the body, and the body is made up of atoms and molecules, or it's made up of chemicals. So if you throw a bucket of chemical outside in your gutter, you are not going to cry. If your body, you have no reason to cry. And if your soul, the soul never dies, you have no reason to cry. Then why cry? That's what Krishna asks. Yeah. And then he says, one who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after the picture you see, the person takes another body again, sure to take birth again. Therefore, one should, without lamenting, do one's duty for the ultimate good of the soul. This is the point he was saying. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityor dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharyerthe natvam shochitum arhasi. Jatasya means one who is born, he has to die. One who is already dead, he has to be reborn. And this will keep on, the cycle will be going on until you become fully purified. Please read this. Any of you? All created beings?
All created beings
All
are
created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation?
Yeah. Like you all will see, we all are, before birth, nobody knows where we were. After birth, we are passing through this life. After death, nobody sees us where we went. We are unmanifest again. Then why lament? For this, there is no need, because we never had a person before. Now he has appeared in front of our eyes. Again, he will disappear. Like you see in the picture. Your athlete is coming running, you see him now. After some time, you will not see him in your sight anymore. Then why to bother about it, is asking. It's called as amazing verse. How people look at the soul as amazing, or hear about it as amazing, or describe about it as amazing. Ashcharyavat pashyati kashchidenam, ashcharyavat vadati tataiva chanyaha, ashcharyavat shainamanya shrunoti, shrutva pyenam vedan chaiva kaschit, is saying. Some people see the soul as amazing, but they can't understand all the details about the soul. Yeah. Now, soul cannot be killed so that we perform our duty. So here one very important point is coming up here. You see, somebody may say that if a soul is not going to die, if a murderer is killing somebody, then why should the police catch him and put him behind the bars for more than a decade? So then all murderers, like one man even told my mentor that, if I can kill all the goats and the cows and I can liberate them from their bodies so that they go to human bodies, then that way I can eat meat of any cow or, goat or chicken or anything, because I'm liberating their souls, he said. Then the teacher told him, see, if the goat is destined to live for 30 years, you cut the goat in the age of 5 years only or 10 years only, then the goat has to re-enter the body of a goat and spend that balance period before he can go to the next destination. Because it's natural. Like for example, you are working in a company, X amount of hours you have to work. If you slipped out of the company, they will again call you, where are you now? Come back. You have to complete your work mandate, whatever is given to you. Isn't it? So, like that, if you are in one body, if you have not finished your term in the body, somebody prematurely kills you also. Again, you have to come back to the same body. Similar type of body will be given. Yeah. Judge awarding capital punishment for someone and judge and performing operation. Both are important. We have to do our duty. Yeah. Soul who dwells in the body can never be slain, therefore there is no need of lamentation. This is what he spoke to him. Dehi nityam avadhyayam dehe sarvasya bharata Tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. Yeah. Here they made one very nice, beautiful list you can see here. So one of you read the left side, another one will read the right side, okay? So that everybody can hear it attentively. It's very important. One of you left side, another one right side. Actually, it is not a table or something. These are total of 30 characteristics are there. You can go in the same order. It's not a table. See, these are all given in different shlokas. But why am I telling you all to read it? Because we have to absorb it in our mind and heart, the nature of the qualities of the soul. Because if you, going back to the shlokas, having Sanskrit words may be difficult for us. But remembering some of these meanings, you go through these words, if anything is doubtful for you, you can ask me now itself. And because these are the characteristics of the soul. If any characteristic appears to be not so convincing for you, you can tell me. Then I can clarify it. Go through this. Anybody can quickly read it. Eternal, no change, indestructible, imperishable, immeasurable, like that.
Eternal, no change, indestructible, imperishable, immeasurable, neither slayer nor ever slain, nor no birth, no death, not coming to being, does not coming to being, will not coming to being, unborn, ever existing, primeval and immutable.
Cannot be cut into pieces, burned by fire, moistened by water, withered by wind, unbreakable, insoluble, neither burned or dried, everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, eternally the same, invisible, inconceivable, amazing.
Yeah. Why it is amazing, I'll tell you the reason. Because, sometimes you open some noise is coming here. You open an old book like this, and you will find a dot type of small creature you have seen sometime moving in the book, old book. Any of your experience? You open an old book like this, it's moving, such a tiny creature. Inside that also there is soul. And if you take an elephant's body, the huge elephant's body is also, powered by the small tiny soul only. It's amazing, no? Therefore, it is very amazing. Whether it is the elephant's body or a small amoeba's body. The same soul is powering both the bodies. So, like for example, somebody may be driving a scooter and another person may be driving a huge plane. In both the places, the driver is the same. Like that, the tiny soul is actually running these bodily machines. Yeah. So we have done this part. I wanted to leave some time for the question answers. If you have any questions, any of you want to share or ask any questions on the topic of soul. Because in the second chapter of the Gita 13 to 27 or 28, we have covered it all. In the previous and this class, we have covered it. So yes, go ahead, Yash. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So there are 4 yugs, right? I think you mentioned the 4 yugs in the
Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Correct.
Correct. Right. So as a devotee, let's say, we get moksha, right? So we don't have to repeat this cycle of birth and death, right?
Yeah.
But let's say if we do, I mean, hopefully not. If we do, at the end of the day, end of the life cycle, Kali Yuga, the 10th avatar of Vishnu is going to come and slay us all, right? And then what happens after that?
And when the Kalki comes, Kalki liberates all the people. Then those who have not yet graduated, that means those who have not become 100% pure, they are reborn in Satya Yuga, next cycle. It's a cyclic phenomenon. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. Again, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. It goes like a cycle.
Okay, so that cycle never ends?
Oh, that cycle, for example, this 4 I told you, Satya, Treta, Dwapara is called as one Chatur Yuga. Chatur means 4. Okay. So, like this, if you take 1000 Chatur Yugas, that constitutes one Brahma's day.
Oh, that's a long time.
Another 1000 Chatur Yugas constitutes one Brahma's night. So, then like this, 365 days and 365 nights, if we take, that constitutes 1 year of Brahma. And similarly, Brahma has 100 years. Out of 100 years of Brahma, now 50 years are over. So half lifespan of Brahma is over now. And that will continue up to that point. And then when Brahma's lifespan is over, then the universe will be brought to a cataclysm and dissolution, where it will enter into the body of Mahavishnu. So now the souls, like all of us, now, like I told you, like our subtle body is like a microprocessor where we have written all our programs for executing, So as long as those programs are independent of God and they are impure, then we keep taking bodies over and over again. But if we clean up our hard disk and reformat it by, by chanting of Hare Krishna and filling it up with pure desires of leading a pure life of good character and following all these principles, then we will not have to come again. We will go back to Godhead.
Right. Yep, that answers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Manideep, what is your question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class. It was really amazing. Prabhuji, so one question I do have. So when the body observes everything around us happening, and we observe a lot of things, so who is exactly the seer, Prabhuji? Like, who
The
is
seer is
observing?
the soul is a seer, witness. The soul is only like we are soul. See, the soul is seeing through the eyes. The soul is hearing through the ears. The soul is smelling through the nose. And the eyes, for example, if somebody changes my eyeballs, when you, for example, if the eyeballs connection with the brain is cut off, then we cannot see. We call it as blind, isn't it? Or the eyeballs connection with brain is there, still the eyeballs are impaired. Then I won't be able to see. But if they remove the eyeball and they put a netradan somebody gives, and we put the eyeball, then I can see. That means who is seeing? The soul is only seeing. The soul is seeing. Yeah, the soul is seated inside the, just like, for example, you are sitting in the car, through the glass, you are watching the road.
Right, yes.
Like that, the soul is watching through these senses and all these things. We are seated inside this bodily cage. And why this bodily cage is given to me? Because I have a desire which can be fulfilled by this bodily cage. For example, in each body, like a polar bear's body is meant for sleeping body. Similarly, monkey's body is a passionate body, and cow's body is a sattvic body. Every body actually fulfills certain type of our mindsets. So therefore, it is that mental existence transforms into a tangible form as soon as there is an opportunity. For example, even the type of dresses that men wear also to some degree exhibits their mindset. Do you agree?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Like for example, when we are going to college, you wear certain type of dress. When you go to meet friends in the party, you wear different type of dress, correct, no?
Yes.
Yeah, that means our mind only is precipitating out as the body.
Okay.
Yeah, because the mind has desires and the body is actually made in such a manner that we can give shape to those desires.
Like one's own nature, like whatever they desire in their previous life, for example, according to that nature.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That means the last part of your previous life and the first part of the subsequent life will be very similar.
Like right if we are sattvic, that means that we were sattvic in our previous life, or maybe the desire was like that.
Exactly. Very true. Now in the, like Manideep, now you have begun your life now. So now say you live till 95, for example, between your age 1 and 95, this is the time span given to you for modifying your subtle body.
Okay.
Yeah. Our subtle body has many bugs like lust, anger, greed, pride, and all that. So we have to clear up those bugs. And we have perceptions, we have impressions, we have tendencies, and also hatred for some and love for some, attachments. All these things are filled up in the mind. But when we chant Hare Krishna chanting makes the mind very, very healthy and purges the impurities which are not wanted for the soul.
So that when we progress on our spiritual path, and that consciousness will destroy all the subtle clearings. Is that correct?
Correct. Actually, it is such a beautiful phenomenon that if you simply chant Hare Krishna, you don't have to even worry about how to spot the impurities, where are they and how to clean it. We don't have to even do anything. We just chant Hare Krishna and you will be surprised. Unwanted things will be automatically removed. And so chanting Hare Krishna is like a virus scanning and virus removing device. both.
Yes,
It does-
Prabhu.
Yeah, it does both the work the chanting Hare Krishna does. And actually we all have experience. You know, like Dhruva Maharaj, for example, he came with a desire to the forest to get a big kingdom. But after seeing Lord Vishnu, that desire was spotted out by his chanting of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and it was also cleared also.
Right. Yes.
And then he returned back to home as a very pure devotee, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And
and-
Prabhuji, one
Yeah.
more question. So when you mentioned that when a goat is killed, like for example, it did not reach its given lifespan,
And so it has
so
to
it
come
has to
again.
take.
Yeah, it has to
Yes.
return back to the one more goat's body and finish the span. Then only he can go out. Similarly, we cannot kill the animal saying that I'm liberating the animal. It's like going to a jail. Say somebody is in jail, his term is 6 years, and you released him in 2 years only. Then the police,
Right.
what they will do, they will catch the thieves and put them back in the jail for 4 more years. And because
Yes.
you released them, they will catch you and they will punish you also. How did you release them like that?
Yes, Prabhu. So is it applicable with same with the human body as well, like human life as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, for example, if somebody is destined to live till 80 years, and there is also some danger point in his, at the age of 55, 50 or 45 or something like that, in case he died in some accident or he did suicide or something like that, then he will suffer for some period of time. Again, he will return back to human body and finish the balance down.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, this is I mean, so much of information and heart transformation, the
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
And
And
Prabhu,
you'll
when
be
you
amazed.
mentioned,
You'll be amazed as we proceed to third, fourth, fifth, so much valuable knowledge is available, and very scientific it is. It is extremely
yes, Prabhu.
scientific. The more we study the Gita, from multiple angles, we can see that this knowledge is observable in the phenomenon of the world that we are seeing around us.
Yes, Prabhu. And one point you mentioned about the Swarup Siddhi, right?
Correct.
Our eternal nature.
Correct.
So I used to have a question always, like, why is the soul so small in nature?
Actually, soul is why is small here. In this world, he shrinks, as I told you. Actually,
Yes,
the soul size of the soul is like what your body is now, my body is now. The soul in the spiritual world is dealing with Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord, just like we all are dealing with each other right now. But
right.
when the soul comes to this world, he shrinks and he is only like a small spark, like egg-shaped now. And then he is moving from body to body. There is a reason for that, because we have given up our spiritual activities and we are like, like sleeping in the night, we crouch ourselves and cover ourselves with a blanket. Now, like that the soul is now. Because we have become materially active, spiritually inactive. But when you start chanting Hare Krishna, when you start coming to temple, seeing the deities, reading the books, and the awareness is increasing, slowly the soul starts, uncovering himself and then blossoming. It's like a kind of blossoming.
Right.
And then when you blossom, then the full-blown form will come. And by the time you are fully blossomed, your form will be just like what you are having our bodies right now. It will be like that, but the soul will be completely blossomed.
So, like you mentioned, when Dhruv Maharaj went in the same body, something like that, like the full consciousness expands.
Full consciousness will be, of course, when Dhruva Maharaj will cross over the Viraja, that time, how Viraja Nadi, which is the transition point between material and spiritual, he will go to spiritual world, because in the spiritual realm, nobody has body made up of 5 elements like earth, water, fire, or ether.
Yes, Prabhu.
Everybody's body is completely spiritual. So the spiritual body will come, that comes very smoothly for advanced devotees. Without even, they don't know when the gross body is taken away, they don't even know. And one important point I wanted to say, here our Jacob has mentioned the point here. Time and space the cosmos can fit you in, and the cosmos, okay. He says, the soul is infinite. In that connection, I want to tell you one important point, that some people think that the soul is shapeless or formless and is extending everywhere. People think, actually, soul has a form. The soul has a form. Like, for example, right now, my shirt has a form. Why? My hands are there in the shirt because I have a form. Therefore, the shirt has a form. Similarly, the soul has a form. Therefore, all the people in this world also have a form, which is around the soul. Correct, no?
Mhm.
So but the soul's form is not mundane, it is spiritual. It is Satchidananda Swarupam, just like Jacob mentioned it in the early part of this today's class. It is Satchidananda Swarupam, but the Swarupa's form is beautiful spiritual form. All the souls have no blemish at all. In the material world, some of us are, ugly, some of us are beautiful, some are white, some are black, different colors we have. But in the spiritual world, all the souls, they all are extremely beautiful. They have different type of beauty, but all of them are beautiful. They are spotlessly beautiful. And all of them are young, hale and healthy. They never get old. They never get diseased. They never die. And they can return. And they have no fear of a fragile body like now. Even if they jump from a 100-mile mountain down, you can come in a slow motion without damaging your body. The soul is like that. The soul is completely... Therefore, we read about the qualities of the soul today. Is that clear? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you. Sunit, Prabhu, you had a question? Yeah.
Yeah. Like during the session today, you mentioned that the soul leaves the body, like if the body suffers from something like that. So
No,
it
it's
can.
not. One is the suffering. For example, the body sometimes gets multiple organ failure. And the soul sees that the body is no more fit for residence. Because if I stay also, I can't accomplish my desires. So let me leave this body and go to another place. In the same manner, say for example, now you, let's say you have a small car and you find that the speed of the car is not good enough. And you want to go to company, you've got a bigger job now, you want to go faster now, and you have sufficient money with you, then you may consider leaving the small car and purchasing a big one, correct, no?
Yep.
In order to fulfill your desire to go faster like that. Similarly, the soul also, at a certain point of time, the body, either the body becomes aged and invalid, or the body gets diseases, or the body has got a, what do you call it, expiry date also. Like, for example, when you get a tonic, in the tonic bottle, they write expiry date. Like that, the body also has an expiry date. Some people are supposed to live below 30, they're called as Alpayush. Somebody lives between 30 to 60, they're called Madhyayush. Somebody lives between 60 to 100, they're called as Dirghayush. So whatever Ayush Brahma has put for you in this body, that much period you can stay.
Just wanted to say something like my father died around 39 years. And after his death, I performed the Gaya Pind Shraddh. And I also performed it in Trambakeshwar, the Tripindi Shraddh. So in that case, like his soul might have been liberated when I performed the Gaya Pind Shraddh, because that is said that it liberates the soul from all the death of all the cycle of life and death.
That's
true. So in that case, like if he died at 39 and I did it like 10 years later, so in that case, how can we can say that he might have lived for 10 years and it was destined that I will do that.
And he may be transported to another place where he may be living in another body till that point of time.
Till that point of time.
Actually,
and once
and also the Shastras say that if the son doesn't offer the necessary performance of Shraddha and all, the ancestors are waiting and hoping and praying that someday he will do it. Then whenever we do it, immediately the benefit is transported to them. How it is transported is scientifically explained. I can put one in the chat. You all can take it. Just 1 minute. I'll put it in the chat just a minute. Yeah, I put it now. It's coming to you. And Jaya Krishna Prabhu, you can copy it and keep it with you. Those who haven't come today, you can pass it on to them also.
I can post that in the group, Prabhu.
Others, you have got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's called Antyeshti. If you read it very scientifically, they have explained how whatever we do, how it reaches the soul. They are saying that, for example, if our say grandfather, somebody is in a goat's body, then whatever you are offering here will go in the form of grasses for him. He'll get very fresh green grass he will get. If he is in some other body, then accordingly this benefit. If he is in a divine body, I mean demigod body, it will go as like very nice, eatable, things like that it will go. So you can go through this article, it will be helpful.
Just wanted to make a small more request that if you have these kind of articles, can it be shared through email to like on frequencies? We can go through it because I'm reading Gita every day now. I don't read much, but I read at least 3 or 4 verses I read every day so that I can catch up with the class.
Very
So by
good,
the
very good.
yeah, so like if all these supplements are shared to us in the group or through email, it will
I
be beneficial.
will suggest
I want to
you,
read all through them.
I will suggest you, you can just put GitaDaily.com. Huh? Jai Krishna Prabhu, can you give them the link of Gita Daily?
Sure, Prabhu. I can give.
You will really find it enlivening. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is one of my friends from Pune. He has made thousands of very good articles from Gita, which are very suitable for modern mindset also. So you can also read them. He will give you the link, and you have ocean of articles available and podcast and both this also. At your own leisure, you can go through that. Okay, can do that. Thank you. And Sudarshan Prabhu, you had a question, Sudarshan? Sudarshan?
Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, I did not unmute. I have a question.
Okay.
What if somebody follows adharma against us, and
Yes.
like, what should we do and how to forgive them? Like, we don't have to punish them. I'm not saying we have to punish them, but if it's like some sort of adharma or something against us, we
So they
have
did
to.
it and it's over, or it's an ongoing thing?
It is over,
Okay.
but we have to take necessary steps, like
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So in that connection, we have to also see that did we do or say something due to which they retaliated back in that way? That's first thing we should check. For example, if I took a first wrong move towards them and that triggered their anger or something like that, and then they reacted back to my first mistake, that we have to check. But if you are sure that you didn't do anything wrong, you are totally innocent, it is their, they are at fault. If you are very sure about that. So what about you? Are you sure about that?
Yes, but as far as I'm concerned, it is just like it is communication breakdown, and sometimes it's inherent. Some people look at other people like we are lesser than them, or other people. Yeah, they have demands which is sometimes over the top.
Say, for example, you are in a role where you have two subordinates with you, A and B. A is very meritorious, you are giving promotion. And B is not, and you are not giving promotion. So B is upset with you, correct, no?
Yes.
Now B is comparing himself with A, and then he is having a burning sensation in the heart that, my boss is showing favoritism towards A and not showing. So in that, he may react badly towards the boss, correct, no?
Yes.
In that case, what we should do, we should take B to confidence privately. And we need to educate B. Think about your good fortune. You have so many nice things you have in this company. What all you have. And in this world, everybody is made differently. Just like, for example, you see there are people better than us and there are people inferior to us also. There are people more handsome than us. There are people uglier than us. There are people richer than us. There are people poorer than us. Similarly, when it comes to performance, A has got these points because of which he has got promotion. And if you do these things, then you can also get similar promotion maybe next year. Because of this, you have not been given this time. Or we can pinpoint some very good unique potential in B, in which direction B can be told to work for his growth. And then B will think that my boss is interested in my welfare. Then they will change their mindset. Is that all right?
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm sorry I delayed all of you a little bit today, but very brilliant questions today. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.